Good morning, guys. I wanted to show you guys something that's interesting. Some of you guys might want to get it. I gotta get the guy's number. But I bought these benches recently and I find it interesting. I bought these benches recently. Look nice. And this bench is made from pallet. There's a pallet the guy took and it's $6,000 for one of these. Nice in the yard, you could put it, you know. You gotta probably, I see people sit on my bucket, they sit on my kind of thing. And a plastic chair is about $4,000 and always broken up, right? But the plastic chair I get, right? Buy it for $3,000 something $. Watch how the handle broke out. This is gonna last you a good time. A guy in Diamond, 14th Street down at the back, second half Diamond, doing them thing though. And he delivered it to me for a little extra cost. He delivered it till up the East Coast for me, right? So I find that thing interesting. If you got a little bar and you want decent sitting area for people, you know, it's got a rustic look to it and a rough finish, but it's strong and durable. So if you got a little business and you're thinking how for set up your business looking nice, and you got the tables to it too, real nice. It's set up like a nice park bench thing with a throwback, and there's making from pallet. You could get pallets free sometime. So I could only imagine this banner picking up all the pallets we could find or buying pallets for $300 or whatever, and taking the time and making these kind of benches. That is so, I found that so interesting. You understand? Why I share these things with y'all is not that everybody go around and make them bench though. You understand? There's a case whereas you could be innovative. A man tell me about a man taking in the bearing ground, pulling up the bearing ground and the NDC and do nothing about it. Going for people family 2 months, he pulling and taking over. Some people just ain't got no boundaries. Some people in this country are so unscrupulous, it's unbelievable. They ain't got no boundaries. The man they're taking up in the Good Hope bearing ground. He got land side of the bearing ground. Easy full up going into the bearing ground. Covering people 2 months in it. Jesus Christ. Only in Guyana you could see certain things, man. So this morning I want to know if you are seeing, the Guyanese citizens, seeing Guyana moving forward. Yesterday, I didn't come on last night. I had a few meetings, and then, but yesterday I came out from the MMA, which MMA represents, and you guys see I posted up pictures and I give you some short videos of the scenery, their beautiful place. And I have concluded after going across this country and seeing certain things outside of the hustle and the bustle, I have concluded that it's difficult, even with the PNC as a good administration. Let me say, no corruption, no nothing. I've concluded that it's very difficult for a PNC-led administration. The PNC could play a part, right? Policing, the PNC could be in an administration that they play a part in a part of that administration, right? Like how they're a coalition. But the PNC can't lead a government. I have concluded that, you know, in looking at these things going across this country and looking at the plight of people and how they're affected, the PNC can't lead an administration that would run an effective Guyana. Guyana we time, but remember Guyana is multiple races and all kind of thing. The thing is, nothing wrong with the PNC in running. I'm saying if they're good, if they're decent, they decide, well, we ain't gonna do this race baiting and all them thing, right? A good PNC administration still can't run this country. Here why? Not because they're bad or they're not good. Again, I'm telling you, a good one. It is because they are like a square peg in a round hole. When you go to the MMA, when you go to these agriculture communities, and you go in the backland and you drive it for hours and realize the infrastructure is needed to get. You see, the PNC is all about pomp and ceremony. They do roads that everybody can see, and you know this thing. You build a Durban Park with a big flag, the biggest flag I ever had. A set of pomp and ceremony. You understand? And when I said no. So we got to work with the PNC to try to reform them, to make them a good, because they're going to be in opposition. When you watch it, they're going to be in opposition a long time. How do we create inclusive governance in this country that they could be able to effectively represent the people? First thing they got to do is start effectively representing the people. This is the first thing they got to do. Right? Who's the song, man? Yeah, this is the first thing they got to do. I think in changing and getting the people's support, they think in attacking the PPP or attacking the administration. I see like that's how PNC game playing out, right? In attacking the administration, they think people will get all excited. But remember, the administration who you attacking, simultaneously supporting and leaning backwards to give your people what you never gave them. So it is an uphill battle. What they got to do is go on the ground, hug the people. You understand? Hug the people, hug the supporters, hear the situation, and come and have meaning discussion with the administration. Or well, it ain't gonna be meaningful. You lambaste them, forget things for your people. Instead of attacking, remember, if you look at what PNC concerns are, the now PNC, what the concerns are, it's like vaguity. They're trying to make a complaint and trying to tell everybody you are affected. This time the people are asking, no, me not affected. Who me not ask you for tag that? People want house, slat, they want land, they want water, they want this and that. You understand? The PNC looking for them problem like what for suggest like all we affected with this thing and the PVP don't go. People don't want to hear but that the PVP done there. People want to hear what the PVP gonna get him. And the modus operandi or the route that the PNC has to take now is going every time and get things for them people. Simple as that. With diesel there, boy. Diesel, right there. Right? So they got to take a route where every time they gonna get one thing, if it's one house lot, help one body, you understand? They got a method where they're using now. Is not addressing the people's issues as opposition. Is watching at the government and say, them bad. First thing they're saying, they're illegitimate. Well, Bano, we got to get more illegitimate government. Follow the tongue there? Yeah. We got to get more illegitimate government because it illegitimate government is do all them things this. You got to get more. It's better the illegitimate than the legitimate.
Are you serious right now?
Right? So, you got to look at that. And I'm saying the opposition leader has to, like, get himself organized and deal with the people's issue. When people call you, you deal with it. Because where these problems he identified as arise from, who tell he they got this problem? And now, what's the reason? Yeah, please call 622-7740 and give me your take on how you see this country, if this country is moving forward. Your take, not me telling you not moving forward. You tell me who you see moving forward, if it ain't moving forward. So I went into the a Barry Conservancy. The Barry is the Barry Berbice Conservancy, and it's actually what was done. The Barry River was blocked, and with the intention of creating a water catchment area that would afford farmers timely irrigation. So if you're using a natural thing, you're running with the natural weather, you got to work with the weather for get water. So what they do, they arrange a catchment area like a basin to catch fresh water from the islands, hold it in this basin, and when the farmer needs water, it is let out and made accessible to the farmer, right? So I went there, and when I go down in the back there, you realize in a back dam. Now we drove on a dam that while we were driving for 2 hours, nobody else drove on this dam. We didn't come across, one time we come across 2 other vehicles. So you can imagine how the area is desolate. Yes, and this is a desolate area. But nonetheless, while you're driving on this road for miles, what got for you there?
10,000 to 80.
10,000 to 80. These $50 make you get rid of everything. 10,000 to 80. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man, thanks.
You're safe. Yeah, so while you're driving on this dam, you're seeing road doing in the back dam. You see all these things going on. Right? When you're going over, well, remember you're driving, so the two sides look like it's grass, it's rice. I did a video over on, I gotta share the video with plain spraying rice. Right? So you would be in this back down. Here why I conclude that the PNC, a PNC-led administration. Now the PNC could play a part. Policing, if the PNC is in a coalition and they're looking after home affairs, foreign affairs, they're good with them. Right? Malik Cardinage is a good foreign affairs minister. Home affairs, foreign affairs, public sector things. Yes, sir. But when it comes to rail, the backbone of a society, policing and so they good with them. Right? Soldier, army, they could control that. But these are not the things that run a country. It's the back dam, it's the gold, it's the forestry, it's the rice, it's the sugar that's bringing the money for pay police and soldier. So when I look at it, I say, wow, this here, if y'all understand what I'm saying? I ain't saying leaving out all that happened with the last PNC-led administration, right? If there were the most honest government, they still can't run the country effectively. When you go in the backlands and you go and see who the farmer is, and you go and see his operation, yes, and you realize this is not a man that is in an interest for too much fanciful things and pomp and ceremony. He want drain clean. He want dam for driving tractor. He want simple man. You understand? And you now see why a PNC-led administration can't get it. They cannot and do not understand how to stimulate an economy. Now that being said, in my lifetime there might possibly be some change. We said if we make some mistake and the PNC win again, they will fail again, because I now see and realize they are incapable. They do not have the ability to understand the dynamics of certain things. Look, I talked to a man, black guy, a migrant. I went to a partner birthday on Saturday, right? Or Friday, I think it's Friday or Saturday. And he and his wife's birthday. And I spoke to a migrant. And the man as a critic, I told my friends that that government failed. And a lot of me and my friends get wrong. Now this man is pushing 70. And he got black friends for years that grew up together, they've been to school together. And they get wrong over the PNC. You can imagine how these people mislead him. Yes, and these people lead you into the abyss. All I'm saying, better could be done. Better could be done. We need a strong opposition. The PNC is the larger part of now the coalition opposition. The AFC is a dead weight. This is the first thing. PNC members got to watch and see and realize that here we got built on we own strengths, right? And what we gotta start working for in this country? We gotta start working for in this country in inclusive governance. There's so much resources now, right? Certain sectors we switch up, right? You go to the polls, you get proportional representation, and then you make placement of different people to different places. Simple as that. It's not rocket science. So the PNC, the PPP, the AFC, if they have a seat or whatever, they will be able to represent a constituency. Simple as that. They will be able to represent somebody who has a likeness for them. You still get a great part of this population who are ignorant and enacting a set of stupidness and participating in a set of stupidness. You're still walking about the April talking nonsense. Things that are not factual. Yes, sir. Now the opposition leader want to have dialogue with the president. I told the opposition leader a long time ago what has to happen. Why would somebody come now for talk to you and all you doing is coughing and sneezing? Nobody wants to see nobody who coughing and sneezing now. Now it's pandemic time, coronavirus. All you doing is coughing and sneezing. That's what the opposition leader doing. Coughing and sneezing. Yes, sir. How we can see the president? And one of the things that nobody pays attention to, the opposition leader don't have to go and apologize for saying the government illegitimate. At the time he thought so. You understand? All you gotta do is stop saying the government is illegitimate. Because if an illegitimate government does this, nobody even calling me for tell me where I think about this government. And the operations. Yeah, call me, let me know what's going on. 622-7740. Right? So when I went into the Abari area and I look at the dynamics of the rice sector, and I am trying to ensure that anything that I'm doing, I have an in-depth understanding. Now I've been in the rice fields and so on. I've been all over land before. I know about rice. I work at a paddy factory. I work at a rice mill, fetch paddy and all them thing now. Or 10-pound bag paddy. I work in the estate, cut cane. I work at spray gang. They've been about the place, right? But I mean really understanding how rice farmers are affected by paddy bugs, how the geographics of these areas work, the geopolitical atmospheres of these areas, all these things. I want to make sure that I have it in depth. And not only me. The purpose is not for me to have it. It's me to better explain to the Guyanese citizen, if possible the politician. I think now the PNC politician, through my eyes, would be able to see the importance of these things and know how to restructure their party. You understand? And revisit their ideology. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Critic. You said to call it
Yeah.
I have 2 points I want to make. Alright? It's concerning reporters or presenters that will present programs on national TV, and concerning customer service. But we will talk about customer service just now. I'm talking about reporters. Each and every single individual in Guyana saw what took place in Guyana during election time. Everyone saw. And still, these people would ask a question, ask such a stupid questions, I would say.
No, but what kind of questions you expect from stupid people? Stupid people ask stupid questions. And if you got good doctors and mediocre doctors and quack doctors, most likely in the media fraternity is the same thing. Some are stupid, some are deliberately mischievous, some are deliberately misleading, some are paid propagandists. So that is what you're seeing.
I don't know if you follow. I don't want to call. I don't know if I can call names.
Call name.
Okay, it was last night. Globespan. The moderator, Mr. Rose. If you listen to his questions that he's posing, nobody necessarily must succumb to any politician. No, you gotta pose hard questions.
Yeah.
But if you look at his line of questioning, if you listen to that last night, you will see his line of questioning when he questioned the speaker concerning the incidents that happened in the National Assembly. Is that no one seemed to address the issue that happened, the issues that took place in the National Assembly. No one is, people is avoiding it. I don't know why. Why is people avoiding that?
Well, unlike the method that the Guyanese Critic uses, you know, people try to be articulate. People try to be politically correct. They try to work in the bounds of the bureaucracy. You know, when I started,
I understand. I understand what you're saying, Mr. Good.
Yeah.
I think, but you have live video of everything, so it doesn't matter if you say B and the C is on the video, it will be C. It can never be B or A or J.
brother, listen to me. If all was well and all was equal as you are made to believe, Donald Trump
Correct.
would not have been president for 5 years in the United States. A mentally
Correct, sir.
unfit and insane man ran the most powerful nation in the world for 5 years. And why? Because of small things. Because of a whole world not believing that that is possible. It can't be that a man who built an empire, right, is crazy.
It's no different.
But that
It's no
man
different.
is trained
Guyana.
madman.
Okay, yes.
He lived an illusion from a very young age. Trump would have had issues. Look at Trump's wives, right? Trump is a immigrant husband. And the first thing Trump see for do when he third president is build a wall. You know, it's like,
It's true.
for real, you know, this is psychosis. Psychopaths. And if you read and do a read up on the psychology of psychopaths, you'd realize they are your nicest neighbors, only to find out that they have people in their refrigerator that they take pieces of meat off from time to time and eat, in some cases.
It's the same thing going on in Guyana. We're
Yes.
talking about half of America.
Like,
half of
you know,
America,
all over the world,
a madman.
we have serial killers. You have a few cases where there are a number of unexplained deaths happening, right? Some of them across the country, and nobody has really asked, do we have any serial killers? What is going on? We might not have, but the study, whether we have or not, and why we don't have, would really help in developing Guyana. Because you see, all over the world, developing nations, through the understanding of how their people think, that is how you develop. You see, the mind, the one thing that has developed more than anything else and that has evolved for the human being is the mind. The body,
Yes.
look at where we come from. The Neanderthal was standing just as we stand today. So what has changed with the human being? It's our mind has evolved. We have learned
I
so
understand.
much. You understand?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. But if
Hold for me, buddy. Hold for me. I got next body calling. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, critic.
Yeah.
The man making a fight about the people in the parliament. I do telling the man about Trump and this and the wife and immigration. Let the man make it point what he's saying, and then we could discuss that. Then you move on to something else.
You want to make a point? You want to make a point about the point he get to make? You make the point because you're excited about Parliament. You make the point quick.
Critic, all I said, if the man get for peace,
No, but you hear the man, since you done there, and make a point about the Parliament. What's your take on the Parliament?
have a nice.
When you're retarded, you're done retarded. The man asks me why it is so. Somebody want to hear you make the point about the Parliament. So let me take back seat. Your take on Parliament and what happened with the discussion. Ask with Rose.
Yes. The Parliament. Look what took place in the Parliament.
No, but here, man. Here was the problem. Listen to me. Here was the problem. And I noticed though, with Alec Damawa just call, I know he's listening to Glenn Lal. He got to be listening to Glenn Lal. You understand? Because some people, their head's so empty. They just want to hear things what trending. Now, let me tell you, and you might not know, but let me tell you. Every time you tell a story, here what you saying, look what happened in the Parliament. The honest truth is, half of the people in this country don't know what you're talking about. So what you have to say, this happened. There's this video and so. Every time you write a story, although it's the same person this guy go and say this man was charged on this date and this is the next code date. And then 10 times after you say he was first charged on this date, then the second date, and then the third date, and then, you understand? So when you saying this is what happened in the Parliament, you tell me what you see happening in the Parliament. And then we move forward from there.
Good. I can tell you what happened. According to what I see, is that the speaker was disrespecting. Not necessarily from both sides, mainly from the opposition side. The speaker was disrespected, and he stood his grounds. He explained his grounds last night on Globespan, and we listened to him. A lot of people listened to him. Not much, a lot of viewers listened to him. And the question that Mr. Rose posed to the speaker, right, was really biased on one side, like a PNC reporter.
Well, let me help you out there. It's not Mr. Rose, it's Professor Rose, by the way. He wrote
Sorry, I do apologize.
quite a few. No, here why I could tell you. I apologize. If you know, you know. But Professor Rose, I know him personally. I called him one time when he asked the president some stupid question. And Professor Rose, brilliant guy in his field. But Professor Rose is not the off-the-cuff guy. Right? So, when you say like a PNC reporter, Professor Rose,
My opinion.
here's your opinion. When Professor Rose in trying to present himself in a certain manner would come over a certain way. But I can tell you he's a fair guy. Because we have talks, we have discussions. I know what he has interests in. Even a bit of what would be his political affiliation at times, right? And a man like Professor Rose, they got the interests of Guyana at heart. They ain't got no specific political affiliation. Because just like how you see it, Professor Rose would be in circles and talk out of tune that would affect PPP people, and he would be in certain circles and talk out of tune that would affect PNC people. So them, but nobody don't really own them because them is talk basically out the place, just like we see last night. Yes, we give him his respect. You give him his respect because he's a professor. But at times, in the realm that he's in, like the show, you see, Professor Rose is the man who is well read and study. Professor's not an off-the-cuff man like me who could switch up, change wrong, you understand? Realize you make a mistake, come back on track and all them things. You understand? This is a man who has to put a lot of thought into things. So he's in a little realm that he's not really accustomed to. He's in an atmosphere where he now has to think off the cuff. He has to get some of the questions he might have. Here why you gonna look, a man like Professor Rose gonna look stupid. Professor Rose would come with questions. So while Manzoor, the Speaker of the House, come and detail things and so on, Professor Rose don't realize, oh shit, he don't talk about this thing. Scratch out this question. Don't ask this question because you're gonna look this certain way. Professor Rose cannot see cause and effect in lifetime. You understand? So you have to forgive him. It is not as a result of his bias. It is as a result of he being out of his league in certain areas. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So in trying to make...
Let me continue with
I'm listening to you.
the assembly. Yes. We saw how the PNC people behaved in the parliament, and that was not called for.
Well, there was one time when the...
Get at the bottom of everything.
No, but there was one time when the PNC held government. The PPP went into parliament and literally protested with placards in hand. Was it a big ruckus?
It was the evening.
I hear you.
You was there in the evening, I think, but you didn't do any video with it. I think you was there in the evening, but talking about during in the National Assembly when they tried to disrupt the National Assembly, they banging on tables.
Yeah.
Tried to disrupt, but the budget still passed. Thank God, because you know the kind of people gotta move forward. Progress gotta continue.
Yes.
And one more question, Mr. Critic. Well, if you hold back the budget, if you say we pass in this budget, is the whole bunch of people, we are talking about building and infrastructure and that. The simple thing of police, nurses gotta get paid. Simply as that. You hold it back and people pay.
No. As I spoke of earlier, the program that the opposition has decided to use is one of disruption. Unlike going out there and seeing what they could get for their supporters, which would be a far more interesting method, and the method I use, because I think I get more for PNC supporters than PNC get for their own supporters. I just go into areas, people call me, they want this, they want water, they want light, they want da. I make calls, I send through. You understand? And that is the way the opposition should be. Well, here, this area is on the, this area, where you have people, they have, the PNC obviously is affiliated with a lot of organizations and so on. So, what you do is you're opposition, but you also play a double part as a lobbying entity. Now you got a government who are doing this and you understand? And you just pitching, but what happened to this? And it doesn't have to be you outstretching and begging and looking like you and the PVP hugging up. You could still fighting for your people. You still put forward your issues. Look at what how the now vice president, then opposition leader, how he did it. Every week come out and detailed issues where mistakes were being made. You understand?
Yes.
Plain and simple, very straightforward. It ain't complicated. And hear what happened. Even to me, that is why a lot of times I gotta take a back seat. I gotta listen to everybody. I gotta go on the road there, refresh myself, because I might be presenting biases now. Because really and truly, I am supposed to be putting forward what happens as it happens. But look at the dilemma that I have gotten myself into. I have to sit and talk to an opposition which try to mar me, lie on me. You understand? Which try to rig election that I witness. So imagine, Raja, right? So imagine now, I got to come and talk and make sure they're not overrun and they have a voice and they're heard. While in opposition. I talking about the PPP. The PPP ain't got no time with me, just like how they didn't have no time with me when I talking about them in the opposition. So I am afforded the same respect by the PPP that I was afforded in the opposition. When I talk bad about them, I talk bad about them. Now, I'm afforded the same opportunities. Now, how do you think naturally there would be a natural development of a bias? And when you ask yourself what I have to do, I have to revisit it and say, Critic, your job is for all the people. You understand? Because you imagine, my job is for all the people. But one set of people respectful to me and one set of people disrespectful to me. And my job is for all the people. You understand? When you go to cover PNC issues, the hooligans and thing hollering, Critic your auntie, man! Critic your cross! Get out of here! You still got to cover the story to ensure the rights are not trampled upon. So, when I sit down, I just got to watch and say, boss, this is your job. This is the position that you've chosen. And there are going to be days like that. You have to go through. You understand the dilemma that I found myself in?
Yes, we see that. We are seeing that every day.
Yes, and I sit down and I say, oh shit, you know something? You might come in over a little bias. And it comes naturally because they created that atmosphere. Same way, there's an effect. You imagine ministers got to come out. Minister Ejil has to go to Kokwani and these places and help people. Places where they chase you from. Now, these people have not learned the dangers of this. How dangerous it is. You know how dangerous it is? It is dangerous because the same thing Granger happened with Granger. The exact thing happened with Granger. The Lindeners chased Granger out of Linden. And Granger chose to marginalize them. Never do nothing for Linden. So you have to be very careful. Hello, good morning. Hello. Yes, brother, talk to me.
Yeah, man, but I want you all to be from Brooklyn, New York.
Hold for me, brother, hold for me. Yes, yes, talk to me.
Me?
Yeah, listening to you.
Yeah, man, listen, man, I enjoy your show a lot, but there's one thing I want to ask you. You said you're a man for the people, right?
I hear you.
You said that you are a person for all Guyanese.
Well, I ain't saying that alone, I show it.
I'm going to argue with certain things that you said, of course, but I wanted to know. There's claims out here that the PNC rigged or tried to rig the election, right?
If it's what?
Did they ever prove it in court?
Here what happens. I speak from a certain vantage point, right? And it is funny. You should ask if it was ever proven in court. Imagine to prove that they did not rig and the elections was rigged from another point of view. That was recently thrown out, and one of those cases is now before the appeals court. And there's still one before the Chief Justice.
You're talking about the petition.
The petitions.
Right.
Right? So, no, it has not been proven in court, but it is public knowledge.
All I'm saying is that it was not proven. Now, in the case of the recount, Claude Singh went into that recount with a clear understanding of the procedure that is to be done, which was, there was 4 steps, was it not?
What were the 4 steps? You got to detail them for me as we're going through. Because we can mislead people.
It was to go through the boxes, tabulate the votes,
Yeah.
reconcile them In other words, votes that were deemed not valid, voting without ID and all these things. And
Well, the process was actually a rehash.
Hold on, let me finish. Now, I was watching that recount very much, and I was trying to get an understanding from both sides, from PNC and PPP people when they came out. Now, the thing is this. Why did not Claudette Singh say when she gathered in that recount order that she cannot do 2 or 3 of the stipulations that was in that recount? Why did she wait until all the votes was tabulated and did not go through the process of reconciling the votes, but instead said that she could no longer do it as far as reconciling the votes? So
My brother, here what happened? Here what happened now? I'm a little lost here. I'm confused as what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to say that after all the going through the boxes and all the votes was counted, there was no reconcilement of those counts. So because it shows that PPP have most of the votes based on the count, there was no reconciliation of that count to say what votes belongs to who.
What do you consider to be a reconciliation? I don't understand.
Okay, if I have 10 votes in a box, and according to the mechanism that dictates the validity of those votes, I have to reconcile those 10 votes. In other words, I gotta find out how much of those votes is for PPP, how much of those votes is for PNC, how much of those votes is for whatever small part.
And they weren't reconciled?
No.
What is do you know what is a SOP and a SOR?
Listen, yes, I do.
Please tell me what they are. Let me get this clear.
Hold on. The SOPs are the valid count.
No. SOPs are statements of poll.
Right,
That is everything on there. What happened, how it happened, and when it happened. SORs are statements of recount. It is a rehashment of exactly what happened on election day. Actually, it took a whole month to do what was done in 12 hours, 24 hours.
But let me ask you this, Critic. Let me ask you this. The numbers, the final numbers that are shown on the SOP, are those counts after they've been reconciled, or just counts?
My brother, the final votes came. You could only get votes and you could only make declarations. The declarations were made based on SORs. The main fact that votes were on SORs, that is the reconciliation.
I understand that, but my brother, what I'm saying is this: if we go into an agreement that we're gonna do 4 steps, you agreed to these steps, but only did 2. And then after you did the 2, you come back and tell me, after me you have an agreement that you don't think you can do the other 2. That is disingenuous.
No, my brother. No, I can't remember anything of the sort transpiring.
Listen.
I know we're talking about the same.
You're a very astute person. I would like for you to go back and look at the guidelines that were in the recount.
Well, here we're gonna happen now. We're gonna do a discussion specifically on this, me and you, tonight. The radio, real clarity. I will pull up video. I will pull up everything tonight. We on.
I love it.
Roger.
But I want people to understand that in a contract, you cannot go halfway through the agreement and say you no longer want to do what you signed on to in the contract.
I think we getting something mixed up. I will have the information. I know where you're going, but me ain't got the information at hand for pull and show you this, and this, and that. So,
but I think that would be very well if you can do that.
We're doing it tonight.
And I think people will get a better understanding.
We're doing it tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Roger, brother. Safe. Something mix up there. Something really mix up there. Here you say happy birthday to Samantha, please and thank you. Can you say happy birthday to Samantha? Who's Samantha now? Happy birthday, Samantha. Just a dry? How you gonna know? Every Samantha think it's the birthday today? Well, no, everybody know when is the birthday, no? Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Critic. In reference to that guy that just asked you about the election recount, right? GCOM have the power to do a recount before the declaration, but the recount in a way just like they would count the votes to get the SOP now, so they're getting a SOR, right? They can do the investigative part when he trying to tap the 4 different things what Claudette Singh back out from if it did happen, right? Because Claudette Singh could agree with the PNC up no pushing shit into something just to get a recount. So she don't have to do it because that would have been illegal. Because that's for the court now to decide when you publish, when you pass this declaration, and they have a problem that these documents missing and whatever, they gotta go to the court with a petition.
Yes, but we have to go through in an explanatory method for him, because here was the funny thing, and I picked this up. You remember when you find people have a problem explaining themselves, there's likelihood there's a bit of confusion in their understanding. You understand? In 99% of the cases, when a person has a problem explaining themselves, when they would have processed the information, although they would have accepted that here, me know, they don't actually know. That is why in re-disseminating the information, or now disseminating the information, it comes out not very transparent. They actually very confused about what they're saying.
Where he gotta go back and look at, he gotta know that what they asked for as he claiming before the first step, and those things are illegal to have a...
Yeah, GCOM could not have decided what are valid votes and what are not outside of the parameters of their job, because GCOM know valid votes and so with the edge thing, right? GCOM could not have decided throwing out the votes. Remember, there were some missing documents.
Right.
But imagine GCOM saying, no, these votes in Montrose, it was Montrose area, are not valid as a result of we missing we own documents. That is madness. Like for instance, yes, the opposition wanted, well, the government at the time, the president at the time, there was no government. They were all squatters. So at the time, they wanted to say the votes should not be counted because they were not accompanied by the documents. And the Constitution says the documents don't have to be a no box. You understand? And the ballots don't have to be accompanied by no documents. There's specific documents that ballots could be accompanied by, right? So they had it mixed up. But they were trying, here was the funny thing with the opposition supporters. Here man, these people in arguing and based of a vantage point that they have a good argument, you know. They're just argument for argument's sake. They are fully well aware of the rigging process, how it works.
Exactly.
And they don't care.
And the thing is, they set it up, so they know exactly when they set it up. Before the election, Jamil Target, he said, when you don't have the house registration, they're gonna set it up for someone that was cheated there. And if you allow it, then
well, I think the process started. Let me be honest with you. I think the process, there was no way of really rigging the election on election day. Too much eyes were on the thing. But like the opposition is delusional now, they were delusional on the day when they had confidence in themselves and nobody else had confidence in them. Right? That is no confidence motion thing. They were delusional when they're going to the courts and suggesting they have a case. And they are delusional today in fighting a battle, in not accepting that the government is legit, but they are a legit opposition.
exactly.
A legit opposition. Huh?
One of them before call you and asking you if they prove that the election election wasn't rigged or wasn't.
No, but here, the guy who called just now, I think he's genuine. He either misinterprets something, because once you get, I've met many people like this, right? And I tell them about PNC people, and when you sit down with them and you make it clear to them, except you meet like a Carol Joseph or a Aubrey Nartner, so they ain't got no time. You could talk from now till February, them holding their own, right? But well, you understand, and I even respect that with them, because does you work, you're a politician. You understand? You can't accept truth. You gotta deal with whoever you gotta deal with, and gerrymander whoever you gotta gerrymander or jerry can to get where you want. But when you meet a PNC supporter, or even PPP supporters that get things wrong sometimes, there's who the Pope, and you see this man along, well, this Pope London bishop there, stand up there. And by still got it going on by the church thing. You are the best. Yes, you're the best. Yeah. So when you meet like voters with them, regular PNC voters, and you explain to them, or you meet a PPP man who has a stance that is wrong, and you explain to them, they generally say, oh, well, I didn't know it, son. Once they get it in the head. But you just got past a stage of resistance, whereas they really and truly care nothing. And I have in many cases got people that I say, man, listen to me. Don't tell me this is the truth. Tell me you don't have time with the truth, because you're staying with your game. And you know what is funny? You know what is funny about Guyanese? Guyanese are expected to act differently in politics, but they act the same way. You're expected to act different in politics, but you're acting the same way with religion and sports. They follow the religion even when the pastor feel up their body. Right? They're with their wife. They still believe in them. They're following West Indies, and West Indies are the biggest losers in the world. But people are like, oh God, we're following the PNC for the lure this and that and that. It is ingrained in us. We are, for the most part, people who have to be, you know, people got to think for. We can't think much for ourselves. For most of us. You understand? So it is a reality. We just got to face the reality of what being a Guyanese for most people means. You're there one way with sport. So that is the attitude. And then people expect to come out and say, oh, there's democracy.